Alright guys, again, slope of a line. Slope of a line. Slope is defined by the steepness, first blank, steepness and direction of a line. Okay, so the slope is defined by the steepness and direction of a line. So it's found by calculating the ratio of the vertical change to the horizontal change. Okay, vertical change, or the change in y's, or the rise, to the change in horizontal, or the x values, or the run. Okay, and the slope is a constant keyword, rate of change between 2 points of a line. Okay, so two big things there. It's constant, and it's the rate of change between 2 points on a straight line, and it's represented by the variable m. Represented by the variable m. Okay, so slope is the steepness and the direction of a line. It's rise over run, it's the vertical change over the horizontal change. Okay, and it's constant. And it's constant. So I'm looking at my example here, okay, and I've given you points on the graph. So now, how do I find the slope between any two given points? Well, again, the slope is the change in y's, or the rise, over the change in x's, or the run. So what I want to know is, from this point to this point, how much did I rise over how much did I run? Well, all you have to do is count up and over on the graph. So I went up 1, 2, 3, and I went over 1, 2. So to get from here to here, I went up +3 and I went over +2. Same thing. It should be constant. It should be constant. So between these 2 points, I should get the exact same thing. I should rise 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, 2. And then once again, rise 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, 2. So it's a constant rate of change. Constant rate of change. So again, slope is rise over run. Okay, or I could say change in y, that little triangle means change in, or delta. Okay, change in y over change in x. Okay, well, what was my change in y values? How much did I go up? How much did I rise from point A to point B? I rose 3. How much did I run? I went to the right, +2. So my slope is a +3/2. This is easy, guys. This is easy. Okay, now there are 4 types of slopes. There are 4 types of slopes. Okay, positive, negative, 0, and undefined. Positive, negative, 0, and undefined. 4 types of slopes. Okay, so let me give you a hint. If you scroll down in your notes, there are 4 little graphs. Okay, so those 4 graphs involve a positive slope, a negative slope, and a 0 slope, and an undefined slope. Alright, so Gollum, help me out. Okay, this is going to be A, this is going to be B, this is going to be C, and this is going to be D. Positive slope. Which one of those is a positive slope? A is a positive slope. I agree. Why is that one a positive slope, Gollum?
It's going towards an upwards direction.
It's going up. So as I go to the right, I'm always looking, going from left to right. As I'm going to the right, it's going up. Alright, so a positive slope looks like this. Okay, and if you were sitting in my class right now, you'd be doing this with me. Alright, but right now it's kind of weird because I'm on camera, so I don't know if like I'm backwards or not to you. So, like as you're going towards the right on the graph, you're going up in the air. Okay, positive slope. Not like Hitler. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. Alright, but positive slope. Okay, good. All right, Armand, give me the zero slope.
Negative 1, 0.
Okay, Armand, I'm asking of these three graphs, A, B, C, or D, which one has these, well, okay, of these three graphs, because I already eliminated positive, which was A. Of these three, B, C, and D, which one has a zero slope?
C.
C. Okay, how did you get that?
Because it's beneath the y-axis. I mean x-axis.
Okay, that has nothing to do with the slope. C is correct, but that has nothing to do with the slope. So again, Armand, slope is rise over run.
Okay, no, it's completely flat.
It's completely flat, which means how much are you rising, Armand?
0.
0. Okay, so in this case, your slope is 0. So let's just pick 2 points. Doesn't matter. Let's pick those 2 points. Well, from point A to point B, how much did I rise? I rose 0. I ran 2. 1, 2. Well, what's 0 divided by anything, guys? 0. 0. So a zero slope, thank you. So a zero slope is a flat line. A horizontal line. A zero slope is a horizontal line because you are not rising any. You are not rising any. All right, Camilla, give me my negative slope. Is it B or D? My negative slope. Is the negative slope graph B or graph D? B. Perfect. So again, as I'm going to the right, I'm going down. So I'm always reading the graph left to right. Okay, so this graph is pointing in a downward direction as you're going to the right. Just like I'm reading a book, I read left to right on the page. It's the same thing on a graph. I read left to right. And that's a negative slope. So then, obviously, D has to be an undefined slope. Undefined slope. Okay, can anyone hop on and tell me why D is undefined? It has to do with this right here. So we found the zero slope as 0 over 2, right? Because we didn't go up any. We rose 0, but we ran 2. So pick 2 points on the graph. I don't care which 2 you pick. Let's pick those 2. And find the slope of those 2 points. And then I want someone to tell me why that slope is undefined. Who is that, Uzman?
Yeah.
Great job, Uzman. You cannot divide anything by 0 in math. Now, 0 divided by any number is 0. Yes, the 0 is in the numerator. That's fine. But when the 0 is in the denominator, there's no such thing. So let's look at rise over run here. Okay, well, I rose 1, 2, 3. But I ran 0. You didn't go over any. So you've got a 0 in your denominator. You cannot divide a number by 0. It is undefined. It is undefined. So now, these 2 are a little confusing. I get that. So how does Coach Sapp remember it? Okay. I can walk on this line right here. I can walk on a 0 slope. You think about a 0 slope, that's a flat road. You can walk on a flat road. Okay, but if you're trying to walk on this line right here, guess what? You fall off and you die. So if you're going to try to walk on this, you're undefined. You're falling off and you're dying, right? Because this is like a cliff. So I can walk on a flat line. I can walk on the 0 slope, which is a horizontal line. You can't walk on an undefined slope. You fall off and you die. That's how I remember it. Okay. All right. Cool. So here we go. The slope of the line is the steepness. Again, steepness and direction is what defines the slope. Okay. Some are steeper than others. So you're going to look at the absolute value to tell which is the steepest graph. The absolute value to tell which is the steepest graph. All right, so I have 2 lines here for you. we're going to find the slope of line A and the slope of line B. All right, so Graham, hop on. Help me find the slope of line A. The first thing I need to do, guys, when I'm finding the slope is to pick 2 points on the graph. Okay, so if you're looking at this graph right here, guys, if you're looking at this graph, okay, you have a point right here. 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 Point right there. Okay, now why don't you have points in between? Because that is not crossing at an intersection. So you have no idea where that is on the graph. I know that right there is at over 1, 2, up 1. So that point is at 2, 1. This point would be at about 1.50. You don't know. It could be 1.6. It could be 1.4. You can only take the points if they're crossing at an intersection on the graph. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, cool. All right, so Graham, help me out. What's the rise? How much am I rising?
2.
Up 2. Okay, I went up 1, 2. How much am I running? 1. So slope is rise over run. So I'm rising positive 2, I'm running 1. So M is equal to positive 2. Like I said, this ain't hard, guys. This ain't hard. Okay, David, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, David, help me out with line B. Okay, so I have a point right here. Because again, we're crossing at an intersection. There's not a point right there. I could use that point. I could use that point. I could use that point. Okay, so David, help me out. Slope is rise over run. Okay, but you know right now, David, what is your slope going to be? Is it going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? Is it going to be 0? Or is it going to be undefined?
Negative.
You know right now it's going to be negative. Why is it going to be negative?
Well, because it's going down.
Exactly. When I'm reading it left to right, the graph's going down. So right now I know the slope is negative. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm going to have some of y'all screw this up. You would put a positive slope here. Just look at the graph first. You know right now, just by looking at the graph, that that's a negative slope. So if you're going to check yourself, make sure that you got a negative in your answer. Your number may not be right, but at least you got the negative right. Okay, because the slope here, David, is what? It's a negative
1 over 2.
Absolutely. So I went down 1. So I went down negative 1 and I went over 2. So M is a negative 1/2. Some of y'all are going to put 1/2, and that is not correct because it is a negative 1/2. So now, which graph is steeper? Well, let's look at the absolute value of a positive 2 and a negative 1/2. Which one of those is greater? The 2 is greater. Absolute value just means that you drop the sign. So which one of those has a bigger slope? Which one of those is steeper? The 2 obviously is steeper. So line A. Why? Because 2 is greater than a negative 1/2. Okay, so again, we're looking at the graph. If we're going up and to the right, that's a positive graph. If we're going down and to the left, that's a negative graph. Always, always, always. Always, always, always. All right, let's look at some examples. Who do I want to talk to? Haley, you there? Haley? Okay, I'll give you another chance in a second. Faiz, you there? Faiz, you there? Okay, so I'll come back to you and Haley. Otherwise, you're absent. Ilm, you there?
Yes.
Alright, Ilm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Which one do you want to do?
Just number 1.
Number 1? Okay. Give me 2 points on that graph.
2, 1.
Agree?
And then 4, 2.
Okay, I agree. You also have the origin, 0, 0. Okay, you also have this point right here. No big deal. So I've got 2 points on the graph, so I'm looking at rise over run to find the slope. So how much am I going up, Ilm?
1.
I'm going up 1, I'm rising positive 1, and I'm running
2.
2. So what's your slope?
1 over 2.
1/2. 1/2. Easy breezy. Hayes, you there?
Yes.
Hayes, which one do you want to do? 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6?
2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Can we do 3?
3? Okay. What did you get? What's your slope?
There's not really a slope.
There is a slope. So again, Hayes, slope is rise over run. So let's just pick 2 points on the graph. Let's pick that one and let's pick that one. Talk to me. How much did you rise? Okay, so what number will we put there?
1.
No, 1's a number. What'd you say? What did you say?
0.
0, absolutely. I can put any number I want down here for run. 0 divided by anything is going to be what, Hayes?
0. No, there's nothing.
0 divided by anything is 0, Hayes. 0 divided by 1 million is still 0. Okay, if you got $0 and you try to distribute it 1 million ways, guess what? Everybody gets 0, Hayes, right? Okay, so 0 divided by anything is 0. All right, Mair, you there?
Yes, I'm
2 or 4, Mair? Which one?
2.
2, okay. Give me 2 points on that graph.
2, okay. Got a second good point. 3, positive 3, 0.
No, no. Doesn't cross at an intersection at 3.
I'll shoot for it.
Okay.
Positive, negative 1, 3.
Agree.
And 0, negative, 0, positive 1.
Okay. That's fine.
And the slope would be down to right 1.
Okay, so down, so negative 2, and to the right,
Wait, I don't think that's
1. Okay, so I'm going down 2, I'm going to the right 1. You're right. Don't second guess yourself.
yeah.
Okay, so if I've got down 2, which would be a what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2, and then you're going to go right 1, which would be a positive 1.
And the slope would be negative.
Again, m is your slope. M equals negative 2. Amazing, you there? Amazing, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. I've got 3 left. I've got 2, I've got 5, and I've got 6. My question for you is, which one of those has an undefined slope? Why?
Because it's straight.
Okay, it's vertical. Any vertical line has a 0 slope because in your denominator you have 0, right? Because we're rise over run. And again, the run is how far you're going over. So on this graph right here, here's my line. We're not ever going over any from get from one point to another. We can go up and down, yes, but we're not going over to the right or to the left any. So rise over run, you're always going to have a 0 down here. You can have any number you want up here. You can't divide by 0. So therefore this slope is undefined. Again, if you're trying to walk on that line right there, guys, you're going to fall off, you're going to die. Can't walk on that cliff. Okay, we good. So now the next part is the exact same thing that we've been doing, except now you're not given the graph, you're actually given the points. So now I can't count up and over on the graph. Now I'm going to use the formula, which is the exact same thing that we've been doing. Okay, so my slope formula is y2 minus y1. Sorry. You can't see that. My slope formula is y2 minus y1, which again is the change in y's, or the vertical change, how much you're going up or down, over the change in x's. Okay, which is x2 minus x1. So what you have to do, guys, is you have to pick one of those to be 0.1. You've got to pick one of the points to be 0.2. So if I'm doing number 7 right now, 2, 3 is going to be my 0.1. And 3, 5 is going to be my 0.2. Now, it doesn't matter. You could have reversed those. You could have said that's 0.2 and that's 0.1. I don't care. All I care about is that you label them correctly. So if this is 0.1, then 2 is the x value of 0.1. So I would label that x1. And then 3 is the y value of 0.1. So I would label that y1. 3 is not x2. 3 is not an x value, guys. 3 right here is the y value. Again, your point has an x value and a y value. Okay, now we're going to the point number 2. This 3 right here would be x2. And then the 5 would be my y value at 0.2, so it would be y2. Okay, well now all I'm doing is I'm plugging into my formula. So I look right here, y2. Well, in this case, y2 is 5. Minus y1. y1 is 3. Over x2. x2 is 3. Minus x1, which is 2. 5 minus 3 is a positive 2. 3 minus 2 is a positive 1. So my slope is 2. That's it. That's it. That's all you're doing. So let's go to number 10. Okay, number 10. So again, what's my first step? My first step is to label my points. Make one of those 0.1, make one of those 0.2. Mia, are you there? Alright, Mia, which one do you want to be 0.1?
Wait, what question are we working on?
Number 10.
Alright. Okay, so x1 would be the first.
Okay, so you want this to be 0.1? Again, it doesn't matter. You could have made the 6 negative 2.1. I don't care. Okay, so 0.1, that means that this is 0.2. Okay, so perfect. So 8 is x1. What about negative 5? What is that?
That's y1.
All right, perfect. What about this 6?
That's x2.
And then negative 2?
Y2.
All right, so help me out. Let's plug into my formula.
You're going to put the y over the x, so you're going to start with y2, which is negative 2.
Fantastic. Minus negative 5 over
6 plus 8,
minus 8. Absolutely. Okay, so now on the top I've got a negative 2 minus negative 5. So I can change here, Mia. And so now I've got a negative 2 plus 5. What do you get?
3.
And then on the bottom you got 6 minus 8.
Negative 2.
Whoops. So then your slope is a negative 3/2.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about slope, so we're talking about the variable m. M. Perfect. Riley, you there? All right, Riley, do you want number 11 or number 12? ¿Qué pasó? 11? Okay. All right, so let's label it. What is? All right. Okay, so let's plug into my formula. So what's going to happen on the top, Ryan? Or Riley, sorry. Well, what's 5 minus 5, babe? You got $5, you spend it. You got $5 and you spend it. How much money you got? You broke. You ain't got nothing. So what are you going to put on the top? 0. Okay, so now, Riley, anything, 0 divided by anything is what? 0. So I could have 1 million on that bottom. I don't care. 0 divided by anything is going to be 0. So I know right now my slope is 0. Okay, now the bottom would be a negative 12. Samia, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, Samia. Number 12. We got one more.
Okay. So you go 6 minus 3.
Okay, so 6 is your y2. 3 is your y1. Okay, that means that this negative 1 should be what?
X2.
Okay, and then this negative 1 should be x1. All right, so 6 minus 3 on the top. On the bottom, you've got?
You have negative 1 plus 1.
No. Okay, well, okay. Negative 1 minus, right? I'm going through my formula here. You're one step ahead of me. Okay, so negative 2 minus, and then x1, which is a negative 1. Okay, you're one step ahead. I got what you're doing. All right, so on the top, Samia, you got 6 minus 3. What is that?
That's 2. Oh, that's 3.
3. Okay, on the bottom, you've got a negative 1 minus negative 1, right? So you changed, and that's why you said plus 1, which I agree. So negative 1 plus 1.
That's 3 over 0.
Uh-oh, what does that mean?
Oh, that means it's undefined.
Perfect. So again, guys, you cannot divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0. If you have a 0 in your denominator, then it's an undefined slope. Well, why is that the case, Coach Sapp? Let's plot these 2 points. I go over -1, and I went up 1, 2, 3. There's my first point. I go over -1, and I go up 6. There's my second point. Let's connect those dots. That's a vertical line. Again, vertical line has an undefined slope. Vertical line has an undefined slope. Okay, so slope is rise over run, or the change in y's over the change in x's. Right? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, the direction and the steepness of the graph is what we define as the slope. Faiz, I told you I'd come back to you because you didn't answer me earlier. Faiz, are you there? Okay, why didn't you answer me earlier then?
It was not muting.
Okay. What is the variable that we associate with slope? Okay, no. It's the number. Slope is the number in front of the x. What variable do we associate with slope? It's on your screen right now. M, yeah. Slope is defined as the variable m. Okay, now it's the number in front of the x when we start talking about our linear equations. Yes, it's not x. X is your inputs. X is your domains. Okay, we denote it as the variable m, rise over run, change in y over change in x. All right, so in your Schoology folder, you have a slope assignment. Yes,